Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked around at your life, your home, your family, your job, and felt this quiet, unexplainable heaviness sitting right on your chest? Not grief, not anger, just weight. That's where Clara was. And if you've ever felt that way, this story is for you. Clara was 34 years old, project manager at a respected firm, mother of two, a 7-year-old named Lily, who collected rocks, and a 5-year-old named Theo, who laughed at everything. Wife to a good man named Daniel, who remembered her birthday and always took out the trash without being asked. On paper, Clara had everything. But somewhere between the 6 a.m. alarm, the school run, the back-to-back meetings, the dinner she still had to cook at 7 p.m., and the emails she answered in bed at 11 p.m., she had slowly, quietly, started to disappear. Well, she wasn't depressed. She kept telling herself that. Depressed people couldn't function, and Clara was functioning just fine. She was doing everything. She was doing it all. The problem was, she was doing it all for everyone else, and nothing for herself. The sadness crept in so slowly, she didn't notice it at first. A little less laughter, a little more snapping at the kids over small things. Lily's rock collection left on the stairs, Theo's shoes in the wrong place. Lying awake at night with her eyes open, thinking about nothing and everything at the same time. One Tuesday morning, she sat in her parked car outside the office for 27 minutes, just sitting, engine off, world on pause. She couldn't explain it to anyone. She couldn't even explain it to herself. It was a Thursday afternoon when everything finally cracked open. Her boss had just piled a third urgent project onto her desk. Lily had called from school needing a clean PE kit Clara had forgotten to wash. And her mother had texted asking why she hadn't called in 2 weeks. Clara walked to the office bathroom, locked the cubicle door, sat down on the closed toilet seat fully dressed, and cried. Not pretty crying. The kind that shakes your shoulders. The kind that surprises you with how much was stored up inside. And when she finally stopped, something strange happened. She felt a little clearer, like a window had been wiped. She looked at her reflection in the mirror and whispered something she had never let herself say out loud before. I am not okay, and that is okay. And the strange thing was, nothing terrible had happened to her. No tragedy, no disaster. Oh, just years of quietly carrying too much without ever putting anything down. That evening, Clara did something radical. She said no. Not to her family, not to her job. She said no to the version of herself that believed she had to hold everything together without ever asking for help. She called her best friend Sophie and said, I've been struggling and I haven't told anyone. Sophie went quiet for 2 seconds, then said, Thank God. I've been watching you disappear for months. I didn't know how to reach you. The relief of being truly seen, not performing, not managing, was overwhelming. Clara sat on the kitchen floor with the phone against her ear and let herself be held by a voice. She booked a session with a therapist the following week. What the therapist gave her wasn't a diagnosis or a label. It was a mirror. She helped Clara see that what she'd been carrying wasn't weakness, wasn't madness. It was simply a body and a mind that had been running on empty for too long, absorbing too much, releasing too little, asking nothing of anyone. Clara started small, a 20-minute walk alone every morning, just her and the street and whatever thoughts arrived. A journal on her nightstand where she wrote 3 honest sentences before bed. And one evening, a week, a Tuesday, that belonged only to her. She started going to a pottery class. She was terrible at it. She loved it completely. She told Daniel what she needed. He listened, really listened, in a way she had never let him before because she had never asked. He said, "I didn't know. I thought you were fine. You always seemed fine." And she realized that performing fine had cost her the very closeness she'd been missing. Healing was not linear. There were still hard mornings, still days when the weight returned without warning, settling back into her chest like it had never left. But here's what changed. Clara stopped treating her sadness as an enemy and started listening to it as a signal. When the heaviness came, instead of pushing through it, she asked, "What do I actually need right now?" Sometimes the answer was rest. Sometimes it was connection. Sometimes it was just permission to stop pretending she was fine. 6 months later, on a Saturday morning in October, Clara was in the kitchen when Lily padded downstairs, still in her pajamas, hair wild, carrying a smooth gray stone she'd found at the park the week before. "Mama," she said, holding it up. "This one's for you. It's a calm stone." Clara took it, pressed it between her palms, and felt something she had almost forgotten was possible. She felt like herself. Daniel came through with 2 mugs of coffee. The sunlight came through the window in that golden way it does in October. Theo appeared at the bottom of the stairs, laughed at nothing in particular the way he always did. And Clara laughed back, a real laugh, from somewhere deep and unhurried. She had not noticed herself returning. But she had returned. For months, Clara thought something was wrong with her. It turned out something was wrong with the pace of the life she was trying to survive. Some people break loudly. Others break quietly. In parked cars, in office bathrooms, in the middle of ordinary lives that look perfectly fine from the outside. And sometimes, the bravest thing a person can say is the simplest sentence in the world. "I need help." If Clara's story sounds familiar, if you've been carrying something heavy and quiet that you can't quite explain, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You are not weak. You are a person who has been giving too much of themselves for too long. And your mind and body are asking, begging, for you to come back to yourself. The first step is the hardest one, admitting that something is wrong. Not to the whole world, just to yourself. Just that quiet moment where you stop performing and start being honest. You deserve to feel okay. You deserve more than okay. You deserve to feel like yourself again. And it is possible. Clara is proof of that. And so are thousands of people who chose, one quiet morning, to stop running from themselves. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe to Tales by Cathie for a new story every week. And don't forget to leave a comment below telling me how you found your way back to yourself. And remember, you are never as alone as you feel.